What is up, everybody? Welcome back. We are going to whip up some 25 zone here. This is my first time streaming, so hopefully this goes to plan. I will probably keep it pretty short. Weird spot with the 8-7 suited here. I never cold called 3-bets, but we've got a min open and a min 3-bet. I'm still going to fold. I don't love 4-betting there. The thing is, though, one of the main reasons to not cold call in that position is because you can get squeezed from the initial opener, but when facing that action where it's like a min open and a min 3-bet, I don't expect to get squeezed that often. So it's still bad. That's why I folded, but it wouldn't be as terrible as a normal cold call of a 3-bet. Hopefully the lag's not too bad. This is going to be a call on the left. Guy did go pretty big, but we have ace-10 suited, so we're going to continue. Double backdoors, 2 overs. I don't love facing half pot, but we can float, I think. I'm going to be folding the turn, though. Kind of expect him to just go like half pot, half pot, half pot, or maybe size up here. Yeah. Screams over pair to me. Going to 3-bet the king queen, blind versus blind. Take it down. This table's not going to let me add on. Hopefully this one does. If we get any lower here, I'm just going to close the table and open a new one. I think either or on the right. I'm gonna go with the check here. Don't want to get raised. Can really comfortably check call. Still gonna call. I'm gonna call most river bets too. I'm gonna squeeze here. It's a little bit loose, but facing late position open and button call, I think it's fine. Let's go 3x seems good. Maybe I should have made this a little bit bigger from the big blind. I don't expect to have any trouble getting all the money in here, so I think super small bet or check. I'm gonna go for check. That's a really small bet. I think we want to raise against this. I was almost never going to raise, but against a size this small, I think we just want to put money in there, and then I'm just gonna jam the turn. This was not the original plan. The original plan was just to like check call down and get the money all in on the river, but if the guy's going to go that small, yeah, he has ace king a bunch. Bit of a cooler in our favor there. I'd prefer to have a backdoor flush draw to raise on the left. I think this is raise or fold. I'm gonna fold. On a 78, we are going to raise it up with the deuces. King and a king. Go a little bit more than 3x from the big blind here. This guy's gonna have nothing, a bunch. I have nothing, but taking it down with bear 9 high, always good. Let's just continue the story. It's not like our 7 blocker is all that strong, but I don't think I'm going to be following through here. This is just... That is a gigantic raise. Alright. You can have it, buddy. You have the nuts. Okay, well. $10,000 IQ shut down there. fun story. The first time I ever went for a triple barrel in live poker. Also, nice limp blind versus blind for the suited ace there, right? I mean, come on, be an adult. First time I ever went for a live triple barrel, I had ace queen suited. I turned a flush draw and then bricked it on the river, and it was a paired board, and I jammed the river, and the guy doesn't even say call. He just looks at the dealer and goes, high hand. And I was like, okay, yep, sounds good. He had quads. That's like an all-time bad feeling. The call is bad enough. The just, hey dealer, high hand, that one hurts. This actually might not even be an open. I think this is the only ace from the small blind that isn't an open. Our hand needs some protection, really good board for us. On the left, just put money in. 10, I'm gonna check. Feels bad, and whatever he has equity, so we're just gonna fold. Seems weak blind versus blind, especially when there are some draws out there, but a bunch of them are gonna be ace-high type hands. I'm gonna just start piling money in on the left. You guys gonna fold a bunch, especially in a limped pot, blind versus blind, but yeah, I'm just gonna continue betting. Kind of same deal here. Better board for me. It's a little bit like less of the case blind versus blind where the ranges are so wide, but I have some backdoor stuff going on, and I have 7 high, so how bad can it be to bet? Play the stand-up game, says Mike Novak. I'll see if everybody else is down. Can you play PLO 6 high-low on one screen? I could. I'm not going to. I'm gonna 4-bet late position versus late position here. Check jam seems good. I expect him to bet a ton here. Okay. Let's go. Do we want to go for the check jam again? Probably not. Can we get him to fold ace king? Okay, that's a win. Go Squeeze here. Really good board for us, but betting and getting raised seems bad, which I expect these like fish shorts to. Okay, I'm just gonna fold this. This is just never ever ever a bluff, and I have like pretty much no backdoor equity, so seems bad to squeeze and then fold when you flop a pair, but I'm just out. Similarly, on the right against multiple people, I'm just not gonna be fucking around too much. I was gonna call probably heads up, but against this I'm out. Bomb pot only channel. There's, I think one of the sites lets you play bomb pot only tables, right? Right, like Poker Bros or something like that. There's or maybe I'm thinking of like Texas Card House. They have tables that are bomb pots only. I know there's somewhere where you can play no limit, where it's literally just a bomb pot every single hand. We are going to cold 4 with the king queen suited. Gonna make it a little bigger. Coming from the big blind. Nice. King 6, let's raise it up. Spicer. I think small bet's fine. This is a fold. Small bet meaning half pot there. I would go percentage-wise smaller if the pot was bigger. That's not necessarily a good way to think about things, but I'm lazy, so I clicked the wheel up one big blind, and that gave me half pot. So I need to turn on my. I'm actually not sure why they're not showing up, but my my like Jurojin sizes aren't currently on here. I don't really know what's up. Okay. Whoa, when we are lagging. All this stuff that you're seeing on the screen is Jurojin. Good flop. Out of position, single raise pot, I'm going to check a bunch. A small bet on the right. This is like... I don't anticipate this being a bluff very often, but the in position min click the turn when the flush gets there. What are you doing? What do we got? Show me pocket sixes with a spade, sir. Scratch what I said about that being a bluff. I'm not really sure if he expects to get that through, but although Actually, I'm not gonna like just start over stabbing a bunch on the flush complete, so I hate it. But like, if this was a brick, this was like, I don't know, a 4 of hearts, sure. I wouldn't do it, but like, this is his line is just doesn't make any sense. Welcome to 25 zone, I guess. I'm gonna be ISOing these limps pretty wide and pretty large too. Pretty much a lot of suited kings are gonna be good enough on the button to ISO and play in position against a likely fish here. Don't expect to get called by a whole lot worse. Could have got called on the flop by like some draws actually, so I think betting is fine. I actually like betting the flop probably more than I like betting the turn, but I see a lot in those like limp pots where you check back the flop. Those like short stack fish guys just like started going off the rails. So I'm kind of surprised to see him check the turn, but if he just had like king 9 offsuit, like, then he just wants to give up, fine. Don't expect a guy to check back an ace very often. Mike, starting stack on both screens was 25. The table on the left is not letting me reload, so if I get below 25, there's nothing I can really do about it. And the table on the right, thankfully I'm not below 25. Going to be folding here versus 3x. Gonna be dominated by a bunch of his stuff. Not able to play very like clear decisions post flop with a shit ace out of position, especially when it's not suited. Gonna check a shitload when I'm in the middle multi-way here. Gonna go for a bit bigger bet on the left here. Double backdoors. What? What are these lines? My hand might be best, honestly. I'm gonna check back. Now my hand's definitely best. I'm gonna call on the right. But he bet into 2 people and I don't love it, so we'll evaluate the river, but again, I don't... Okay. I was gonna say I don't expect a guy to check back an ace very often multi-way on the flop, but he has his weakest ace, so makes some sense. I actually kind of like his check back on the flop. You just don't often see it at low stakes where people are checking back top pair multi-way. Especially on a somewhat draw heavy board like that. Ooh, interesting. Let's go for the one big blind lead on the turn. Okay. It's not really a spot where we can check raise a lot. I mean, again, I don't expect the guy to be that strong when he checks back the flop on that board. So maybe a check raise would be fine, but like, you need to get called by worse, so. ISO here. Half pot. 1/3's fine too. If I was out of position, I'd probably half pot that board 100%. In position, kind of mix 1/3 and half. For me to bet more than 1/2 on the flop, especially in position, there needs to be a pretty clear difference in the ranges at play. So like, most of the time I'm doing it is like early position versus big blind or something like that. That is an action board right there. Both guys limp call. This dude's gonna have an ace a ton. I think we might just want to like check, get it all in with the under the gun guy. Again, like I'm gonna check a ton when I'm in the middle of multiple guys here. Yeah, I think we're just gonna check raise, call it off here. Raise to a size that like he's not gonna want to fold an ace, but it gives him a weird SPR if he calls, so I expect him to jam. Yeah. I mean, this guy's got like ace 10 off or something a bunch, right? What? What the hell was that? We are running into some players tonight. Poker is alive. Don't let anyone tell you different. We can get value from worse, I think, here. With a small bet. So this is a board that I would check or bet. Oh, well, this guy's in the small blind. I thought he was in the big blind. I'm going to check back here because my hand has essentially no equity. No, like backdoor equity, I mean. Yeah, 10-7 off. How about that? We're going to open the 7-6 suited at some frequency under the gun, but it's going to be low. So in that hand, the 10-7 hand where I flop a pair and a flush draw and a backdoor straight draw, I'm not going to be folding, especially to that guy's stack size and the pre-flop action on basically any run out. So I prefer to just like get it in. A, because he'll fold some stuff, and B, like, if he doesn't want to stack off with like ace 9 off or something, it puts him in a spot where he has to put the money in. And it makes sure that my hand actually realizes its equity. So like if I call the flop and I check the turn and he checks, now it's hard to get all the money in on the river. I have to like lead the river for big, or I have to go for a check raise on the river, which doesn't seem great when the turn checked through. So my hand has a ton of equity against literally anything, so I mean, if he has aces, my hand still has a ton of equity, so I'm fine just getting it in against whatever he's got. I don't know what this song is, but I am not in an elevator, so we're gonna skip it. Oh, you could go for the rare flat on the button here. I think I actually am. This guy's never gonna squeeze. Oh, we're gonna check. Watch him squeeze now that I said that. But when you just know you're gonna get super under squeezed, you can flat hands like this that just play like really straightforward post flop. Like obviously I can just easily fold here. I'm pretty much gonna fold unless I make a set. So this is the weakest ace we're gonna open on the button here. Interesting flop here in a 3-bet pot. I have obviously a really, really strong hand, but it's not the nuts. Start with a small bet, fold to a 3-bet on the right. So I pretty much want to get called by like, obviously worse aces, but he can't have, yeah, so this gets kind of sketchy. I actually don't even mind checking back the turn. What I was starting to say is he can't have ace-x of clubs, and that is the worst river in the deck, other than the queen of clubs. So I don't really expect him to raise like ace-10. He could have ace-king, I guess, but it seems weird to raise, and then the others are, like, obviously you can have king-10, he can have, like, ace-queen, which is now a boat, he could have queen-jack, which is now a boat. So even if that wasn't a queen, if we didn't get counterfeit on the river there, I wasn't gonna be super hype about it. Mike, squeeze is, I'm going to half pot on the right. Squeeze is when someone opens, someone calls, and then you 3-bet. So squeeze is a 3-bet where there's a raise and a call. So essentially what you're doing is like squeezing both guys out of the pot because you're putting the initial raiser between yourself and the guy that called, which means he has to play tighter. And then once he folds, the other dude has a pretty like weak range because he didn't 3-bet himself. So you get to take it down a bunch pre-flop when there's a raise and a call. Because, so like, let's say this guy calls. If this guy had called, I get to 3-bet a ton because now this guy is kind of screwed because he has another guy behind him. But when this guy folds, this guy's hand is really weak because he didn't 3-bet himself. Check back with no backdoor flush draw. I'm not gonna start getting out of line here on a one-liner to a 6 and a flush complete. Yeah, ace high might even be good here. Show me, I don't even know what you could show me. Show me king queen, king jack, let's go. So the squeeze in live poker especially is really nice because nobody 3-bets enough. So people will view your 3-bets as like super, super strong. And you can just start doing this with like, you know, suited aces, suited connectors, things like that. I wouldn't recommend doing it with like hands like this, like king 10 off. Definitely not, because you do need to be prepared to play multi-way if they call. And the thing about squeezing, especially in live poker, is if you squeeze and the initial raiser calls, the other dude almost never is going to fold, which is called double flatting. So if he calls the initial raise and then calls your 3-bet, that's a double call or a double flat. And again, his hand is just really weak. If it wasn't, he would have been doing the raising himself. So you want to avoid doing that yourself. You don't want to be double flatting in live poker or in online poker for that matter. And in live poker, people just give 3-bets so much respect. What are we just running into the same guy like over and over again? Like, what the hell is this? We have double backdoors again and 2 overs that I expect to be live. I hate being out of position, but whatever. I'm gonna fold if he bets the turn, but yeah. You can fold the flop there, I think it's fine. People also respect your raises, your 3-bets so much from the big blind because nobody 3-bets from the big blind. Like, the most nutted thing in live poker is like, dude that limps all the time decides to 3-bet from the big blind when he could just call and take a flop. Like, people don't 3-bet from the big blind enough. So if you start squeezing from the big blind, people are like, oh, this guy's got aces, but you have ace-4 suited and you just get to take it down. And when in games where people are opening to whatever 7 big blinds or whatever, like if you're playing a 1-3 game where it goes like 20 call and you're in the big blind, you have to squeeze to like 100, so you got to make it really big. And if you're playing a game where you know, the max buy-in's only 100 big blinds, then you know you got to tread somewhat lightly. But if you can just take it down there and you take down $40, you just take down like over 13 big blinds, A, without paying rake, and B, without having to see a run out. It's a huge win. So if you can like properly identify those spots where you can squeeze and take it down pre-flop, it's a significant boost to your win rate. Yeah, if you 3-bet in a bunch of these live low stakes games, people are just like, oh my god, this guy has aces. That happened to me when I was in Boston, like a week ago. It was like, I think our hand is good enough to go 3 streets. King Jack, I might check back the turn, but I'm gonna go 3 streets against a limp in late position. So here I'm gonna squeeze and I'm gonna go about 5x. This guy's size, so from out of position, I'm gonna 3-bet 4x plus calls. So I'm gonna go 4x because this guy raised and add in another. So if this guy double flats here, so if this guy calls, it's a double flat. He called this raise, and now he's thinking about calling my raise. Yeah, he double flatted. He sucks at poker, and his hand's bad. Because of that, I am just going to bet. My hand has, like, normally I would check, but, like, this is just going to happen all the time, and I just took down, how many big blinds is that? A lot. 25, 26, something like that. No, sorry. Something like that. Is that right? Yeah. But yeah, when I was in Boston, third shuffle, I get aces, I flop a set, I win a big pot, I show it down, and people are like, oh, this guy's a nit, he only plays aces. And I was literally less than an orbit into the game, and people were already like making judgments about like how tight I was, which was great. I just started like 3-betting their shoes off and just like c-betting the flop all the time, and they just fold. It was awesome. Another squeeze here. I'm gonna check multi-way out of position. If this was heads up, I'd be a lot more interested in betting. This would be nearly like 100% bet on this board. That's a really sketchy size because I don't think this dude's too scared to get it in. I'm actually gonna fold. That seems crazy tight, but so like that's why squeezing sucks for the initial raiser, because I'm folding there because I have the guy behind me heads up. I'm never ever folding there. And if the guy had a full stack, I'd also call. So instead of double flatting, you should either fold or 4-bet. Well, this is one of the reasons why I prefer to play 3-bet or fold pre-flop, so that you're never initially calling the open, which obviously means you're never going to double flat. And then, yeah, big preference on folding over 4-betting, because you've already kind of capped yourself. So like when you call and then 4-bet, it's like you're giving mixed signals about your hand strength. Like, you called the original open, so how strong can you possibly be? And now all of a sudden you want to 4-bet. It's like kind of unclear. That would be called a back raise. Let's go. So if you call an initial open and then when it gets back to you facing another raise, you re-raise, that's called a back raise. So like, let's say it goes open. Let's say this guy opens, this guy calls, I 3-bet, it gets back to him and he 4-bets. If he called the initial open and then raised, that's called a back raise. Normally, when you see that in live poker, it's really, really nutted. It's somewhat similar to like a limp 3-bet, which is like always the nuts in live poker. It's like some guy that is like wanting to trap, and that's his plan. That's his idea of like springing the trap. I think I've only back raised twice in my life. And there were like very clear reasons for it. Versus the small size in position super deep with a suited ace, I'm gonna call. Back raising, not great. Double flatting, also not great. So yeah, I definitely recommend just playing 3-bet or fold pre-flop for the most part. I'm gonna call with double backdoors here. Again, super deep. Now, probably gonna fold if the guy continues. Actually, definitely gonna fold if the guy continues. I kind of like bluffing with our hand. We block ace-king. We unblock spades. Kind of expect spades to bet the turn, though. Although they're now not drawing to the nuts. I expect a king to just go 3 streets. I wouldn't bet. If I had spades, I would not bet the turn. I would actually prefer not having diamonds either. I'd prefer to have like ace-6 of hearts, but I would have folded that on the flop. So I think our combo is pretty good. Out of the big blind, you can 3-bet like a little over 5x. So in live poker, I'm always going to. This is a board even in a 3-bet pot, I can bet big on this board. In live poker, I'm going to. That's unfortunate. He's just gonna have so much shit there that like connects with this board in some way. But if he has like pocket 7s, then whatever. In live poker, I'm going to 3-bet in position to 3x plus calls and out of position 4x plus calls. But in online poker, you get to go bigger than that out of the big blind, mostly because the open sizes aren't so ridiculously large. So like people are opening the 2 big blinds instead of 5 or 6 big blinds in live poker. So that increase is kind of already built in live poker. But mostly you get to 3-bet bigger from the big blind because you're closing the action more so than the fact that you have like a marginal amount of money in there already. You don't have to worry about the people behind you. So like 3-betting under the gun +1 versus under the gun is sketchy, A, because the under the gun range is so tight, but also because you have an entire table of people to act behind you that can 4-bet or cold call or whatever. Where if you're in the big blind, and it's folded to you after someone raised. It's heads up already, so you're not as concerned with putting more money in the pot. This is a bit of a weird spot. On the right, we could definitely squeeze here. I'm gonna call, just because our hand doesn't play that great. That's actually a really shitty reason to call. We have relevant blockers. These guys have weak hands for the most part. I think I like squeeze more than call. This is normally a hand I would fold, but facing a limp in late position, like, I'd rather have like ace deuce suited or like jack 10 suited. I'm just gonna start firing here. Bluff it off on diamonds, or if I'm blocking a straight, yeah, so any like 5, 10, anything where I'm blocking a straight, I'm gonna be in there. This was probably a fine call pre-flop, but kind of tempted to just close my eyes and call down here. I might have a value bet now. Seems a little thin. I don't know what that line is, but okay. Ah. Got to continue to the size on the right. I folded the a7 off that time. The limp came from one position earlier. Oh, baby. Do we want to check raise? I'm gonna bet really, really small and try to induce. God damn it. Oh my god. Oh, okay, well, it seems like we weren't getting anything from his hand anyway. Don't show me like a king. Oh yeah, he had no pair. Alright, well, that was unfortunate, but, so the plan was to bet like super, super tiny, like 1/6 pot, and see if the guy just wanted to like spaz raise. Go a little bit bigger here. I think the guy should have some sort of like pair or straight draw shit a lot. Gonna bet pretty big on the ace. Right before I did that, I was like, I wonder if we can just check back, but I have queen high, so I don't really love checking back. How many min raises are we gonna run into? It kind of sucks because we're not drawn to the nuts anymore, but we're in position. Okay, well. I think I like betting the turn. Maybe betting a little smaller is probably fine, but especially against a small blind flat. Small blind flats are actually supposed to be somewhat strong. If it was a big blind flat, I'd probably like it better. I'm gonna sit out my next big blind on the left and open a table that actually lets me add chips. A lot of limping going on. I don't like, normally there's a lot of limping, but this is like crazy. King ace. I'm not gonna ISO this with ace 8 suited. I would with like ace 5, ace 4, and obviously suited broadways. But when under the gun opens to 3x, those kind of like middle aces not great. I'm going to be raising on the left or not. I'm not going to be bluffing the river with this combo, at least very often. Blocking front door miss flush draw really bad. And I'm going to have, like when I just stab the turn after the flop checks through, I'm going to have some like really bad hands, so I'll use those to bluff. Call on the left. Interesting. This guy should check a really small bet. You almost never see that actually happen though. Our hand can use like a little bit of protection. I don't expect to get raised like ever. So I'm gonna bet 20%. The guy's gonna call with all like one spade hands. He should like almost never raise. I expect all his flushes to bet the flop. And this is like a fine result. Half pot here. I'm going to use a lot of half pot on the low, somewhat disconnected boards. I'm gonna bet small on the jack. What is with the... Is this just the same guy, like, over and over again? Don't check back. Please don't check back. Do I want to rip it in his face? Fuck it. I mean, are we serious? All right. We have got some action tonight. I just expect that guy to have like a jack a bunch or like some hand that he's just like clicking buttons with. I mean, clearly he's clicking buttons. He had 9-3, but I think check calling the river is also fine. But because like people don't value bet enough, I think he's gonna like check back a bunch of like marginal shit. Like if he just has like pocket eights or something random that he's just doing weird shit with on the turn, then we want to like put him in a weird spot. I think it's fine. I think also just like jamming the turn is fine. Half pot on this board. Nope. Yeah, 9-3. I mean, I just got fucking owned. Obviously, like, I'm only leading the river because the guy's horrible. If I had any... If it was like a reasonable player that I was playing against, I'm never just going to call the turn and just lead jam the river. Like, that's a ridiculous line from me, but it's a ridiculous line from him that I'm going to combat by doing ridiculous things against it, so... I wonder if we can just jam on the left. I'm not going to, but if I had ace king off... what happened here? Oh, I sewed. We're just gonna triple it off with the king jack, which means I'm gonna bet kind of small so I can jam the river. What is this lead? Oh, I have the nuts. Go for a check raise on the left. Depending on size. Yep, against this we'll check raise. If you had like potted it, I'm just gonna call. On an ace. I'm gonna check. Most of the ace X hands that we're going to check raise on the flop would have 3-bet pre-flop. I'm not going to be check raising like weak aces. So I'm not really repping an ace when I check raise the flop. And I think this guy has an ace a ton, so I don't think double check raising makes any sense. And again, blocking front door. Flush draw, I'm just going to give up here. Have Jack 10. Just have Jack 10. We're gonna call suited wheel aces here. Ace 5, I'd consider 4-betting. Kind of a bad spot on the left. On the right, I have a pair and a backdoor straight draw, so we'll call. I wonder if we ever want to turn this into a bluff. Not against that size. Yeah, this guy's like completely uncapped. He can have like kings, ace king, jacks, king jack. I'm not really sure what I can definitely have jacks and king jack. But I think it's a little unnecessary to check raise into that line. I don't mind our hand for it for sure. But our 4 is not super relevant. Like, given the pre-flop action, it's not like I'm blocking, blocking shit like king 4 doesn't matter. So even blocking pocket 4s doesn't really matter. So there are definitely times to turn pairs into a bluff, but I'd like the blockers to be a little more relevant than that. The ace is definitely a relevant blocker, but we're going to open this sometimes from the hijack, but on a 32 we're going to fold. Go 4x here. I would fold ace 7 off from the cutoff, but we're going to open ace 8. Wow. Seems a little too weak to, a little too strong to fold, but this guy's gonna jam the turn a ton. Wow. We just have the best hand. We value bet. We block a bunch of draws, so I think I'm just gonna check back. I have a gutter to a straight flush on the right and a pair. Now I have 2 pair. Fuck. It's the second time I've done that. I was gonna call, but probably lose. ace, and an ace. Easy call on the right. We are going to 4-bet on the left. I expect to just get tripled into here, unfortunately. Guy just has like pocket threes a lot. I think we can fold to this. Ace king I'm calling. The guy's set a lot. Write that one down. Check back versus the big blind. That's a good card for me. Bet. Fold this versus the 3-bet. Our hand doesn't really have like super relevant properties here, but we have 6 high, so this is like borderline value bet territory. I think we can honestly check call a lot of sizes here. What the fuck? What? Also sick. How does that guy have pocket queens? What? Wow, I mean... What? I was gonna call the river. Take it down on both. So in that pocket queen's hand where I led the river and the guy had 9-3, The reason I'm leading the river there is because I expect him to check back too much. So I expect him to check back hands that are worse than mine that'll call a jam. If that wasn't the case, and the reason I expect him to do that is because he's bad. The reason that he's bad is he's a short stacker and he limp called and then min raised. So I just expect him to check back too much, essentially. I'm doing it for value. Like, obviously, I'm not turning my hand into a bluff. I think I'm getting called by worse. That seems right. Open this on an 88. Check a ton. Out of position multi-way. I don't love facing these positions, but this is such a small raise. I'm also going to fold the turn here. This guy's bet on the flop is pretty strong, and I have no improvability. I don't have a straight draw anymore. Yeah, I gotta fold the left. On a 99, we're gonna go ahead and open up King 6 suited. A flat here. Check fold flop. If I had a backdoor flush draw, I'd continue, or consider continuing, but I'm gonna bet really small on the left. I almost wish I didn't have a king. Unblock some straight draws. But I have the best hand like all the time here, I think. I'm gonna check a ton, as I've mentioned here, but this is a hand I think that wants to bet. Wow, that's a really bad river. I think we even have to check this back. That I think is the worst card in the deck. This is going to be a squeeze at some rate. We get a high number, but this guy's a short stacker. I don't want to get jammed on. We're going to call and then check raise a bunch of turns. That's one of them. Now, obviously, I should check raise the flop. I think check raise. So initially on the flop, I think I'd rather check raise like higher spades. But I think I still have value here that I want to check raise. I have like pocket sixes, pocket threes, ace six, ace three. Oh, that's a nice river. Actually, is it? I have way more fives than this guy, so it gets harder for him to call like ace 10. Yeah. Maybe it's not a nice river, actually. It's kind of an action killer. I think check raising the flop is fine there, though. And we also have 8 high, so like whenever he folds, that's obviously really good when you get to take it down with 8 high, so in hindsight, check raise the flop seems good. I'm also going to sit out my next big blind. We've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes, so call it a session in a minute. All right, looks like we won a little bit overall. I'll probably upload this as a video, but plan in the future is to do a bunch of these. You know, a lot of the time when I'm playing just online after work, probably stream a bunch of these, upload them, and then obviously continue to do the hand review sessions with Solver. So as always, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.